All right, let's go to Leanna. Leanna in Virginia. What's up, Leanna?
Hi, how's it going?
So good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Trying to keep my kids from listening to the show a little bit.
Good for you. You're a good parent. You're a good parent.
They enjoy the peeing stories, though, so that's always fun.
Okay. That's my wife tells me my humor capped out at about 11, so perfect. You're not dating in the metaverse, are you?
No, happily married.
Good. Good. In the real world, you're married to like a human?
Yes, married to a human, a mechanic, so he's very real world.
Oh, very real world. Excellent. Okay, so what's up, Leanna? How can I help?
So my question was, am I selfish for wanting to take a trip by myself without my wonderful husband and my kids? A little backstory. So I have 2 kids. I have a 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old. So I'm kind of in the middle of it all. I am a part-time realtor and a part-time MLM consultant. And I'm in school full-time taking 17 credits right now online. So there's not really a whole lot of downtime for me. I feel like really the only time I can get away is during the very short deer hunting season that we have here in Minnesota.
Your deer hunting season is absurd, by the way.
It is. But I try and milk it for all it's worth because as soon as I come out of the deer stand, I'm back to being mom.
Yes.
So, I feel selfish for wanting to take a trip without them. And some comments my husband has made sometimes makes me feel even more so.
Tell me what those comments are.
Well, it's mainly like he does this dirt bike trip where he goes across the state with a couple of his buddies, and he's like, oh, it costs like hardly nothing, just the gas for the dirt bike and maybe some food. So he's like, I don't really understand why you would want to spend money on a trip for yourself when we should be spending the money on a trip for all of us as a family. And so then I'm like, okay,
why is it either or?
That's what I don't understand either. Before his knowledge or thoughts were he couldn't keep me safe. And I grew up in a military family. I can keep myself plenty safe.
Yes, the deer need to be worried about you. So I'll just answer this directly. Absolutely not. In no way are you selfish. I just finished 3 months of what I would call hell of book writing. Hard. It's just like getting up at 5 a.m., going to work, and then heading off into a dark hole by yourself and getting done at 10 or 11 at night. I mean, it's been month after month on the road, writing in hotel rooms. It's been chaos. I just hit send on the manuscript last week. And that weekend, on Wednesday, I got on a plane and flew to Utah to meet up 2 great guys, Dustin and Steve, and I went with a buddy here that I work with at Ramsey, and we went on a hunting trip in the middle of nowhere, Utah. And on the surface, it could be, I felt what you're feeling. It felt a little bit selfish. It was the most important thing I could do because I had to go clear the cobwebs so that I could come back and be present. Otherwise, my kids and my wife become another task, right? They become just another thing in order. Like, I got to do my classwork. I got to do this. I got to go hug my kid. I got to go show up to the school thing. I got to make sure my wife's happy. And they deserve more than to be part of my checklist, right? And so it's critical that we get away and separate. And I absolutely love when my wife goes to hang out with her friends. She comes back renewed and refreshed, and she's got new thoughts and new ideas. I love it. And it sucks because, right? I got to do bedtimes and morning times and breakfast and make sure people are putting on deodorant and making lunches. I got to do all that. I don't like doing that. And, but it's part of being in a partnership, right? It's part of being married. I think going down the road of, but my trip costs this, and why does your trip that's dangerous ground. That's comparison, man, and that's just going to melts a marriage every time. Marriage can't be 50-50 like that. Well, you spent this much, so I get to spend this much. It can't be like that. Otherwise, it just becomes this tit for tat nest forever. And man, you can't build a relationship on that.
Right. Well, and I feel like that's what he saw growing up, because his mom would take trips, and now she does trips with her daughter-in-laws, and then my father-in-law would go on a canoe trip in the Boundary Waters with the boys, and it'd be very, less costly than what hers were, but they'd be arguing about it, and that's just what he saw.
Yeah, I think it's important to call that out. This is what you saw growing up. This isn't how we're going to do this. Yeah. Because the thing that brings you joy is, I don't know what trip you want to go on, a cruise. Like getting away, getting out on the open water, that's a thing. And the thing that brings you joy is riding motorbikes across the country. Across the state. Yeah. By the way, motorbikes are expensive. And so maybe the trip itself isn't expensive, but all in, like I can do that. I can have this really fancy Sitka gear that I got. Good grief, it's like an Armani suit. And I can have really fancy like hunting equipment. And then I can be like, hey, my trip don't cost nothing. I'm just going out to sit in the woods for a few hours. That's ridiculous. Right. So my cost is just all on the front end. And my wife may spend nothing ever, and then want to go on a cruise or go hang out with her friends. But dude, I think that's amazing. It goes back to putting your oxygen mask on first. Here's the only time I'll call you out, okay? Is if you are going on this trip to run away. Okay. If you are out of capacity and you feel like you have to escape them. One is running from a thing, one is running towards a thing. And it can look very similar, but here's what happens. If you run from a thing, you're going to get a cabin somewhere with a couple of girlfriends, and you are going to end up doing nothing. Right. And you're going to get frustrated that you didn't that you showed up with you. You went with you back to your house. Right. So I'm going to go on a vacation for a very specific reason. I'm going to go and take 5 books and sit in a cabin for 3 days and do absolutely nothing. And my goal is restoration. Or I came back from my trip more exhausted than when I left. Dude, it was 8 degrees outside. It was freezing. We were hiking through snow, up mountains. It was madness. So I came back more exhausted, but my goal wasn't to go get restoration. My goal was to go hit Control-Alt-Delete, right? Right. And so I planned that going into it. Okay. Yeah. And I feel like restoration is definitely needed. Maybe there's a little bit of the escape idea, but more so just because 2022 was a terrible year. Yeah. And I just need a break. Basically what I do is I wake up in the morning and immediately start going, doing real estate things, handling kids and making sure everything is good in the house. And then when everybody goes to bed, I'm up for 3 or 4 hours doing school. Yeah. So I'm just some of that is absolutely. And some of that's seasonal, right? You are going to graduate. Yeah. The real estate market is on a dumpster fire right now, and it will come back. Right. Like, so you're in a wild season right now. More broadly speaking, I'm more concerned that once those things level back out, you're going to find more stuff just to fill them. My friend Ian Simpkins, he's a pastor here in Nashville. He said a line recently that just melted me. He said, if busyness is your drug, rest will feel like stress. Okay. And if you're creating a world that is super busy all of the time, on top of the busyness of just being a mother of a few young kids, you're going to cross the line, the graduation stage, and you're going to immediately fill that void with more crap. Yeah. I want you to build a life you don't have to run away from. Yeah. And go away and have fun and enjoy your life, right? Go on a trip. And I'm not going to lie. My wife says, I don't vacation well with you sometimes. I need to go away by myself for 3 or 4 days with some friends. There's a little piece of me that hurts my feelings. Like, I wish she was like, you make me calm and you bring me restoration, but I'm a little bit not like that. I a little bit more chaotic, right? And so I wish I wasn't. I do. I just am. And so the next best thing is I can honor her and be super excited that she's going to take care of herself and she's getting restoration and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You got it. So here's your homework assignment, okay? Homework assignment is I want you to get by yourself, go get coffee. And I know this is a tall order, even if you got to get up half an hour early, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be super tired. Have an extra coffee this one particular morning. And I want you to write down your needs.
Okay.
Here's what I need in my house. And usually for a mom in your situation, I need help with the kids. And I know my husband's working really hard, but it's just not me in school. When I go to school, we're both in school. And it's not just I have 3 kids. We have 3 kids. And I know he's working hard and I still need some help. And I need to get 3 days so that I can go just laugh and cut up with my girlfriends. I need 3 days so I can just go stare off into space and whatever. Awesome. And if he comes back with, well, then I get my 3 days. Your response needs to be, honey, I'm not in competition with you.
Yeah.
I'm not competing with you. We're not going to go back and forth. We're not on a teeter-totter here. What you need, you need. And what I need. And I want to learn how to say my needs out loud and us together to figure out how we can both meet those. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense completely.
And I know that can be a pipe dream for some folks I know, because I know that some husbands or wives or whatever are just, I ain't doing that. I'll tell you, if you're listening and your romantic partner, your spouse comes to you and says, look, I need this, or I really want to take a trip with my girlfriends. I want to take a trip with the guys. Try it just once and say, that's amazing. Can we plan the exit? Like a couple of days before you go? Can we plan the re-entry a couple of days after you get back? Can we plan what that will look like so that we're all on the same page and I can best love and honor you as you come back, as you go, right? Can we do that together? That'd be amazing. Try. Just practice. Just try it once. And if it's a disaster, that's on me. Try once. Being excited. Even if you got to fake it. I'm all in. Go have your trip. Go have fun. Get away. You deserve it. You've been working really hard. I'll pick up some slack. When you get back, I'll be excited to see you. Try that instead of, what about me? That's expensive. Man. Give the gifts of support. Try that.